Hey, it's Chris from Motorcycling Kiwi Style, and tonight I'm going to show you how to do the fork seals. Nice and easy, some really cool tips. Now before we go any further, I'll show you the sketchy way I got the forks up off the ground. Please do not do it like this. Get yourself a proper front stand. Put a jack under there just to support it with a block of wood underneath the engine case. And then I use my tie down straps, which are hooked up over the top of the garage. And then hook the strap around the front fork clamps and then elevated the tyre up. Do not ever do it this way. So the first process is to start undoing stuff. Forks, the front guard's got to come off, the wheel obviously, the calipers have got to be undone, and axle out with the pinch bolts out first. So the very first thing to do is to undo the calipers, move them out the way, and also get rid of these ugly reflectors. Boy, I hate those things. So that's it. We've got the wheel out, we've got the calipers off, we've got the guard out, got to undo 2 pinch clamps there for the brake hoses, and then going to start work on the forks. I'll do the right one first. So the next trick then is to put an oil pan underneath and then undo the 8mm Allen bolt in there. The best way to do this is to keep the whole forks all intact, including the top bolt there. Just keep everything assembled there. That way it keeps all the damper rod nice and tight, and the shock of the air gun using the Allen key will undo that. I've done it the old way where I've pulled the whole forks out, and it's an absolute nightmare to try and undo that bottom bolt. Now I've got 2 very important tools for this whole procedure. Air rattle gun. Next I've got is a socket set and also an Allen bolt to get in underneath there. So 6mm bolt in there. So it fits in there quite snugly. Tell you what I will do though, is I might just put a socket on it and see if it'll just come undone without having to rattle it. That'll be interesting. Now, that was crazy easy. That shouldn't have happened like that. I should have had to put a pneumatic gun in there and rattle it, but it was just come out just with a socket. And did you notice how the whole slider come down and the fork seal remained up there? So we've got the dust cap, we've got the fork seal, because I'd already pulled out the retaining clips, things here, and this fork just sort of moves down quite nicely. So it's against the fork guides at the moment, fork bushes, sorry. So I'll just let that drain a bit, might just sort of swish it up and down a little bit. Did you notice I've still got the bolt and everything all remaining there in place, which I will keep it there. At the end of the day, you cannot beat these for clamps. A lot of people just shove them in the vise, risk ruining all the chrome and all that. Best just to keep them in the clamps there and there. I mean, they're not going anywhere. Okay, so where we're at the moment, we're just letting all that oil drain out of the tubes just for now. You notice I put these bolts back in. It's always good just not to lose things. And over here, of course, the right side and the left side. The axle, you'll get a good clean up and re-grease. And here's the fork legs. They're just sitting there. I'll give them a bit of a clean up as well. This is going to make the fork seals quite easy to do. Top tip, don't skimp on fork seals. Get genuine Suzuki ones. I've heard of horror stories of people buying cheap ones and they leak a couple of months later. So I'll do the right leg first. So here's the right side fork out. So far, I've got the new fork seal in there, which is still yet to be seated. I've put the bolt back into the bottom damper rod. So I've got both fork legs assembled. I just haven't seated the fork seals yet. So these here are my tools for putting the fork seal back in without actually having the fork driver. This here's the new fork seal sitting in there. I've just sort of pushed it in by hand. That's about as far as I can go. I utilise the old fork seals. This one here I've cut a wee chunk out of it just so I can pick it out with a pick. Now that's the other old fork seal which I'm going to use just to push in the new one. So far I've driven the fork seal in a wee way. The reason for this cutout is that I can use my pick tool to get it out. So now what I want to do is pick out the old seal here with this pick. So the fork seals are now in place. All this is just excess lubrication and oil and grease from when I put the seals in. The next step now is the dust covers back on. What I've got to do now is take these caps off, pull out the springs, give it a bit of a clean. So I've got the springs out, got the damper rod disassembled, and now since I've done the fork seals, I'm just going to put 517 mils of oil in there. Using Auto Trains fluid, which is 10 weight, you don't actually need to use the fork oil. This does the job and is half the price. So I've put my just over 500 mils of oil in now. So what I've got to do is purge the air out of it. So you just pump the fork up and down a few times, just purges all the air out. All I've got to do now is just torque up the damper rod bolt to 20 Newton meters. Okay, so where I'm at now is the forks are all done. Reassemble. Okay, so that's a wrap up on the fork seal work. It's been a pretty easy job. Hey, thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this. Hey, ride safe out there. See you next time. Take care.